What up, man? This is your boy Super Mario, man, and you are in the Yo with your boy, man. And first off, man, I want to say, if you're into boom bap, if you're into lo-fi, if you're into that Maybach music mixed in with a little acoustic drum kit type of production, if you're into that East Coast production, if you're into that West Coast production, that Dilla type production, funk type of production, neo soul type of production, if you want to go nostalgia and look for that 70s and 80s mixed in with the today's type of sounds type of production, anything in that hip hop to urbanistic type of feel of production, this compressor is for you, man. And we're going to be talking about the Kiive Audio Complexx 760 limiter compressor, man. This compressor, I've been looking at it. I'm like, what's so unique about this compressor? And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and download the demo, man, and check it out and see what it's all about, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man, it was good enough where I had to go get this bad boy right here, man. Yes sir, man. So check this out, man. This compressor, it looks weird to most. It looks complex to most, but it's really easy once you just sit down, have the patience, and really break down this compressor. It's really easy to use, and it also gives you a lot of good flavor. Not to mention that the compressor is so smooth and vintagey and vibey and stuff like that, and it caters to all of those type of productions that I mentioned earlier, especially like that boom bap, you know, Dilla, you know what I'm saying, that nostalgia type of feel. This compressor, it checks the mark on that. All right, and today what we're gonna go over is some of the pros that I think that this compressor really shines at or whatnot, man. But I need you to stick around, man, to this video and follow me into Ableton Live, man. So without further ado, man, let's transition into Ableton Live and check out the Complexx compressor from Kiive Audio. All right, so here we are in Ableton Live. This is the plugin right here, Kiive Audio Complexx 760 compressor. Now this particular compressor is it's, if you're not used to, you know, what hardware looks like, or your GUI mentality of workflow, and you look at this compressor and be like, damn, it's a lot of knobs, you start freaking out. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the situations with GUIs, to make them look like hardware, and it's really easy, man. So don't trip out or freak out over the GUI because it looks complex or it looks hard or whatnot. That's the art of learning, and that's the thrill that you get out of learning, you know, saying compression, especially, you know, saying mixing techniques or whatnot. This is kind of like how hardware looks, man. You just got to get in there and dig deep, you feel me? But we're here to talk about the Complexx compressor, man. All right, so this is the GUI right here. There's a lot of goodies in here if you are a compression junkie or if you're a mixing junkie like myself. We're not going to really too much focus on the plugin junkie, but more of what this plugin does. You understand what I'm saying? And everything like that, man. So it is basically a FET style compressor or whatnot. I'm not exactly sure if it's an emulation of any other type of hardware. I don't think it is. I just think it's Kiive Audio's take on a FET compressor, and it really has some really good features in there, man. So I need you to hang in there with me and be patient, and let's break this compressor down and see how it sounds. All right, so I have Easy Drummer up, and I got like a MIDI clip going on, and you know what I'm saying, I got like a funk type of drum clip that's going on or whatnot. But more importantly, I want to show you, you know what I'm saying, basically what we have going on with the processing and everything like that. So basically I got the drums already kind of processed with EQ. Now I'm utilizing the SSL native or the SSL complete native plugin, the SSL 4KB console EQ, just to give it some tone to it. And what I had to do was basically go into the mixer, and I kind of tailored up the overhead bleed so you can hear a little bit more kick, snare, and everything like that. Drove the tape saturation that's built into the Easy Drummer, and then what I did was EQ those drums just a tad bit, brighten up the high end, utilizing the high shelving, and also thicken up and bring out a little bit of that low end using a low shelving on the 4KB console EQ. I turned off the compression because we'll be utilizing the compression with the Kiive Kiive Audio Complexx, and I drove a little bit of preamp gain on the 4KB console preamp knob right here as well, utilizing the mic pre. All right, so that's basically what's going on. We just got EQ and a little bit of tape saturation going on from the factory sounds here in Easy Drummer. All right, so what we're gonna do now is go ahead and play that groove that I have picked here. It's a funk groove pre-chorus. All right, so what you're hearing right now is no compression. All right, no compression at all. You see the meters are not working at all or whatnot. All right, and I'm gonna try my best to go in and out between, you know what I'm saying, here and the plugin. All right, so just rock with me. All right, cool deal. The things that I really like about this plugin is the first pro that I have about this plugin is you have total harmonic distortion that you can inject into the plugin. Now this is really key, man, because you can really bring out some harmonic distortion and really bring out some of that drive and flavor, you know what I'm saying, that this plugin is built on right here. That's my first pro. All right, so the THD function that they have right here at the top above the VU meters is really clutch, man. Another thing I like about this plugin is the oversampling feature, man. If you need to oversample, they have that feature. You can go 2 times oversampling all the way up to 16 times oversampling, man. So that's pretty cool right there, man. Control the overall input that comes in from the left of the plugin, and the signal flow coming out of the plugin on the right hand side. You control the global output signal right here, so you could change these all day long. Right here you can change all of this right here, but it really matters with what's coming in on these big knobs and what's coming out on these output knobs right there, man. And it was another feature right here. Oh yeah, I like this right here, man. The fact that you have only 3 attack times that you can kind of play around with, that's unique, you know what I'm saying, because it's giving you retain that flavor of compression and the tonality of the plugin that it was built on right here. So you only get 3 time constants of the attack time. That's really cool, but what's unique is that you get a variable time constants on the release, you know what I'm saying. So the release is variable, but the attack is fixed in 3 time constants. That's really unique, you know what I'm saying. It allows you to allow that compression to be freely released, but you definitely going to inherit the compression by way of what they want you to compress with the attack time and everything like that, man. So that's really unique, man. And you know what I'm saying, you have a function right here to switch the plugin in stereo. or strictly dual mono or mid side. So in this case, we're going to put this in stereo. Actually, let me do this. You do have factory presets. It's not that many. Basically, you have factory presets, default plus gate, default plus limiter, or just regular default. Then you have a mix bus category, 3 presets in there, and then also your drums. You have looks like 6 different presets or whatnot. But presets is for suckers. The way you're gonna learn compression and plugins and what they do is don't fuck with the presets. You feel me? All right, so we're gonna put this back on default. All right, and we're gonna switch this right here to stereo linked, because this Easy Drummer is a stereo plugin, so I want to keep it in stereo linked. Now, for whatever reason, if you got drums that are coming in mono, you might want to keep it in dual mono. Okay, all right, so what we're gonna do right now is just put this plugin into stereo mode versus, you know what I'm saying, keeping it in mono mode. It's got dual mono, but you know what I'm saying, if you have a drum kit that's coming in mono for as recorded drums, and they're for some reason mono, you know what I'm saying, you keep it in dual mono. But Easy Drummer is a true stereo instrument, so we'll keep it in stereo linked. And you have the option to put this in mid side mode, just in case you want to compress the mid frequencies right here, or compress the sides. You definitely have that opportunity to do so. And not to mention as well, another pro is that you have sidechain filters in here that can be linked or unlinked or whatnot. And this is really, really good, because let's say, for instance, you don't want to compress your low end. You have these knobs right here. So let's say, for instance, I want to keep my low end, don't want to compress it. I just want to retain the true essence of that particular signal. You could put the sidechain filter in and keep it at, let's say, you know what I'm saying, 277 hertz, and anything below 277 hertz will not be compressed or whatnot. So that is really, really cool right there, man. So that sidechain feature, from what I see here, is freely used or whatnot, but we can get all the compression that you need, man. It's just up to your choice or whatnot. So that's really a good pro right there as well. Now let's talk about how this particular compressor work. Now, I'm not really big on expanders and gates for as compression and drums, only if there's a lot of bleed. But if you're utilizing virtual instruments, or you have a really good tight mic'd drum kit, you really probably won't use expanders or gates. But if you have, like, let's say 2 microphones in a big room and there's a lot of bleed and there's the you know what I'm saying, you may want to use the expander or gate to tighten up the drum sound, and we'll utilize it on here just to kind of play around with it. So let's go ahead and play around with some sounds, man. So let's go ahead and get a drum groove going. All right, cool deal, man. So I'll be talking through here, man, and just kind of, you know what I'm saying, working out the kinks with this particular plugin. All right, so y'all remember the global input and output knobs? Let's go ahead and play with those and show you guys what this does. Let's go. Oh, let's go ahead and turn the plugin on real quick. All right, there we go. So we got instant compression as soon as we turn the plugin on. Only reason why is because of the input and the output knobs and where they're positioned. And by default, this is set to 3 to 1. Let's go ahead and put this on 5 to 1. All right. And let's get, we had a medium attack time at 25 milliseconds. Let's go ahead and put it on 2.5 milliseconds. I'm sorry. This is a quarter, 0.25 milliseconds. So all the way fast is to the right, all the way slow is to the left. All right. So 2.5 milliseconds is slow. Medium is 25 milliseconds. Fast is 0.25 milliseconds. So we're going to keep it at 0.25 milliseconds. My bad. Sorry about that. I should have paid attention in math class. All right, cool deal. And we have a fast release right now at 25 milliseconds. All right, so right now with the input and output knobs where they're set at right now, we're getting compression. So let's say, for instance, I wanted to control the compression that's going on in this plugin. I'm just gonna back off on the global input knob. All right, so let me do that. Now you can see that we got a volume difference, but you'll notice that our gain reduction meter is at 0. All right. I'm gonna drive it up to about 7. And you can hear the compression right there. Now there's two ways we can kind of look at this compressor and work the global input and the global output knobs on this compressor. Now, if you're a person that you want to have hands-on controls, you can utilize the global input and output compressions or whatnot. So when you turn in the input, you'll notice that the output is turned down. You see what I'm saying? And that's just that's a starting point. But also you have these right here, you know what I'm saying, for your channel. So let's say, for instance, you're adjusting the left only, or adjusting the right only, or the mid only, or the side only. These are working clutch. All right, so let's play that drum clip again. All right, so basically I would look at the input and the output knobs right here as fine tuning. Okay, and then these right here are your global units right here. All right, so you can fine tune this to get more injection far as that compression is concerned. So let's go ahead and set our global input and output knobs. Let's play that groove again. I'm gonna get real light compression here at about -4. All right, the next thing I'm gonna do is play with these smaller input and output knobs that are gain linked together. Now, I like that compression that they got going on right there, man. So basically, look at it like this. If you utilize the big input and output gain knobs and you find that compression that you like, but you need to add a little bit more, but you don't want to touch the global in and output knobs, you can utilize these smaller input output knobs to kind of fine tune your compression. So you may be like, oh, I need a little bit more. Instead of just adjusting that global one, adjust these smaller ones right here. So we went from around about -4 dB of compression to about like in between 9 and 10 dB of compression by doing this fine tuning of the smaller input and output knobs. All right. So the next thing I want to adjust is the threshold. So now the threshold is going to act as a compression measuring situation, and we can inject even more flavor of compression. All right. So let's go ahead and play that clip again. So I'm going to adjust the threshold on the compressor section, which is highlighted in orange text. All right, about right there. I'm hearing that. I like that. Now, what I want you to notice is over here on the right hand side of the screen, my output meter. Notice that we're kind of right around about -12 on the meter, right? All right, so let's say I want to bypass the original signal versus what I have, all right? So let's turn this off. You notice that's a big volume difference, right? All right, now let's take the compression out. Let's adjust the output, the smaller output knob here. Now the thing you want to listen for is the snare drum. It's the loudest transient in the drums, right? So what we're going to do is try to gain match the transient of the snare drum. It's not going to be exact because the compression is taking away the transients, but we listen to the overall gain. I think that's good right there. Now you see how we got this compressor needle is moving very, very fast. All right, cool. Now let's hit that back again. Let's adjust our release to a slower release. See how we smacking that now? So that's just like, that's utterly compression right there, man. That's just, you sucking all the dynamics out of that drums. Whatnot, man. All right, so let's go back and make this release a little faster. All right, cool. So now we are on a very fast attack time. Let's bring back some of those transients and put this on a medium attack. Now you can hear some of that smack come back into the compression. Now let's try to adjust our release time to make it a little bit slower. Ooh, that's nice right there. Now let's make an adjustment and go with a slow attack time and see what kind of transients we regain back. We're going to bring back that release time a little bit faster. All right, so now we got to add a little bit more output gain. All right, this is for fun right there. It's a little bit too much compression for me, so let me put this back on the medium attack time. I'm going to adjust that release time to be a little bit slower. About right there. All right, so another thing I want to kind of talk about is now that we kind of like fine tune our compression by utilizing the input injection on these smaller knobs right here, and also making some adjustments on the output knobs, also fine tuning our release and finding the right attack time for the compression, and also adjusting the threshold and also the ratio. You may like this sound. All right, cool. But you may say, hey, I kind of want to, you know what I'm saying, add a little bit more low end. Now, the common thing that a lot of people would think about is, oh, okay, well, let me EQ the low end. Not necessarily, man. Let's play with the sidechain filter and see what that do, and see if that'll add a little bit more low end to our signal. And again, the sidechain filter on the compressor is going to be, hey, you know what I'm saying, let's go ahead and not compress whatever our fixed position is on our sidechain filter. All right, so let's go. You already instantly hear the difference right here. Now, what I want to pull up is this right here, man. I want to pull up, a spectrum meter here. All right, and show you guys what we got going on here. So let's go ahead and play that. So the spectrum meter right here is basically going to show us right here at 146, according to the spectrum meter. That is where the cutoff at. You see this little valley, this peak in the valley or the mountains or whatnot. Right here. That crossover point is right here. So it's about at about 138. Okay. So what we're going to do now is basically go to the sidechain filter and put this at 138. Now watch the low end creep back in, and you have some low end retained. See if we can fine tune that. I'm gonna hold down Control and left click. All right, so there it is right there. The sidechain filter is set at 138 hertz. Everything above 138 hertz is being compressed, and you're still leaving your bass drum completely free of compression. That's what the sidechain filter does right there. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and bypass the plugin in its entirety. Cool. I like that. So what we have done is basically set up some really good compression, where we kind of got the compression to where we at in its whole frequency spectrum entirety. Once we set that compression, and let's say for instance, I want to, have some low end, instead of pulling out an EQ, you can actually, if you have a compressor that has a sidechain filter function on it, utilize that first and then utilize your EQ. It'll make wonders or whatnot. Okay, so we did the compression and everything like that. The only other thing we could do is, let's say for instance, add some total harmonic distortion into the signal or whatnot. This is going to kind of give it a little bit more grit, a little bit more bite, and a little bit more spice to the drums as well, man. So let's kind of play around with that and see how that sounds. Yeah. All right, cool. So we added about 2.7. I don't know if that's in decibels or whatnot, but we added a little bit of THD, total harmonic distortion, to the signal, and you'll notice how spicy the drums got. Just a little bit, not too much, especially on that high end where that snare is hitting, and the hi-hats as well, the beater of the hi-hats with the stick and everything like that. Also, if you want it, just depends on your processing power that you got going on in your mix. We can add, let's say, 2 times oversampling, and that's gonna give it a more realized signal to it. Oversampling is, you could say it's difficult to understand, but to break it down, all you're basically doing is giving a better snapshot of the signal being processed through the plugin. Okay, so let's hear that with the 2 times oversampling in, and then we'll kind of adjust from no oversampling to 2 times oversampling. Let's play the drums. And off. And on. So the snapshot, it just sounds more real. It sounds a little bit more 3D. Again, it's just a better snapshot. You take a picture. It's like taking a picture with an iPhone 3 and you're taking a picture with an iPhone 15 Pro today. That's basically what oversampling is in the layman's terms. All right, cool. So we basically got this compressor dialed in the way we want. Now let's go ahead and play with the expander and the gate. Now the expander is kind of like I don't like expansion. I really don't. It's hard to explain. Expander is going to do what a gate does, but it allow a little bit more bleed in, but you still have control of the gating. I'm old school, so I love a gate. That expander type of stuff is more new school type of gating, if that makes any sense. So what we're going to do is basically put the gate on. I'm going to kind of play around with that. I'm not going to talk too much. The gate is basically, you control that by your range, your threshold, and also the release right there. And you'll notice that the sound is going to get tighter as I adjust some of the parameters with the gate. All right, so let's go ahead and get that popping with the gate. Now you'll notice that there's some bleed in between the hi-hat, the miking of the hi-hat, the miking of the snares, and also what the room is picking up as well. But when we kick this gate on, you're gonna notice the drum's gonna be really, really tight. Let's put it in. So that is the gate in. You'll notice that you're missing some of the hi-hat. You feel what I'm saying? Of the hi-hat. You can see the expander light is doing what its thing or whatnot, which is the gate. We're gonna pop it off. Let's do it, pop it off right here. Listen real closely. Let's pop it on. Now from here, let's go ahead and make adjustments to the release, the threshold, and the range. So that's some really tight gated drums right here. So we're allowing more sound to be, you know what I'm saying, basically open. You know what I'm saying? So to talk about what a gate is, it's basically that you have a cap. And when you want to adjust that cap is basically it'll open. But everything else is, that threshold is going to allow that. And when you open that gate a little bit, you will have more signal to come in. So pow, 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 pow. You see what I'm saying? It controls how much ambient sound that you want to hear in the signal, whatnot. So I have it basically at all the way, you know what I'm saying, of an allowance of sound range is concerned with the range red knob. The threshold is allowing everything to be, that's that swing of the gate. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a gate and you swing it open, when you swing a gate closed, it's closed. But the threshold is going to allow how much of that gate can be swung all the way open, halfway, or all the way closed. That's what the threshold is. And of course, the release is going to be how fast you close that gate. So if you really want to break them up, you can. But if you want that slow and the close in, just like that, that's basically what a release is. I'm trying to explain to you in layman's terms as best as I possibly can, man. But let's go ahead and adjust basically the yellow, the threshold, and the green, the release. Let's go. All right, so with the threshold set at high, you're not going to hear too much of a difference with the release. So let's bring the threshold back clockwise. So that is a very tight drum sound. All right, right here, you can see the light right here on the expander gate light. You see how it's not tight and you can even hear it. So let's tighten up the release again. I like that right there. So basically with the gate, you know what I'm saying, it really tightens up the drum kit, especially if you have multi mics and stuff like that. It really tightens it up and really gives it a groove. We're using a funk groove for us what the MIDI is playing inside of this Easy Drummer track. And this is really, really important because now you really get that funk groove to it. If we was to turn this gate off, you know what I'm saying, you just basically have a loose drum kit, if that makes any sense. So let's play it again. Now it sounds really good. You got a really good funk drive going through it. But let's say, for instance, you want to get a little tighter and get a little funkier with the drum kit. So it really kind of like, it depends on what other instruments you're utilizing in there. It allows you to hear, let's say, a guitar that has an effect on there. You can hear that guitar with the effect a little bit more by making the drums a little bit tighter, or vocals a little, you know what I'm saying, a lot of vocals to be attenuated a little bit more versus, you know what I'm saying, the drums taking over and just being loose or whatnot. So you just basically tighten up the drums or whatever the case may be. All right. And, you know what I'm saying, I think that's basically it, what we could do with it. So we kind of played around with the expander. If you want to utilize the limiter, you're more than welcome. I just turn it on just to see what happens here. So the limiter will definitely protect you from clipping. Notice that the master track here in Ableton Live is not in red, but when I turn that peak limiter off, there it is right there. So that just limiter just prevents you from clipping. And it also gives you a little bit of flavor too. It just adds a little bit of soft clipping. Yeah, it adds a little bit of soft clipping, all right? Now what we're gonna do is adjust our output knob right here, our global output knob. Now you'll notice that when we adjust our output knob, the input knob stays in place. That's another pro that I like about this compressor. You can adjust the input and it'll compensate the output gain knob, but when you adjust the output knob, it keeps the input knob in place. That way you can retain your compression. All right, so this is where you can kind of like get out of the red without actually utilizing the limiter, because you don't want that extra compression that the limiter can give you or whatnot. So let's go back and add a little bit more and not clip in the red on the master track, and there he is right there. So let's go ahead and bypass the whole plugin. Now you can hear that the drum kit has a lot more low end than we do the high end. Well, this is where the purple knob comes in, and this will be our last feature we'll talk about in this video. This is basically going to give us whether we want to make the tone brighter or make the tone darker. Right now, when you hear the drums, you hear more low end than you do the high end. So let's make an adjustment on the tone knob. Wow, that sounds really, really good. That's a nice tilt filter right there. Now let's go to the right and add a little bit more low end and see what happens. So that's only if you're looking for that darker tone, you'll turn it to the right. But if you're looking to kind of make the sound and the tonality even with the low end, turn it all the way to the left. Yeah. All right, let's bypass that. It's almost kind of like matching the original signal when you're utilizing this tone knob. Let's turn the plugin back on. It just adds a little bit of salt to the sound, a little bit of sprinkle of, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of salt, you know what I'm saying. I like that. Cool beans. And then you have an overall mix knob. So if you want to add some parallel compression, that's where the mix knob comes into play. So right now, even though the plugin is doing its thing, you're not hearing any of that compressed signal. You're hearing the original signal. So if you want to add a little bit of that compressed signal to get that parallel compression going on, the mix knob is where it's at. So you definitely start hearing your compressed signal at around about 45% on the mix knob, which is not bad at all, man. So yeah, man, that's pretty good right there, man. So yes sir, man, that is it for this particular plugin. That is my pros on it, man. Again, let's go over my pros. The pros is the tone knob. I love the tone knob because that gives you the agility to tone shape your process signal as far as your compression is concerned. My other pro is the gain linking functions on your input and output knobs. That is a really, really good feature right there. It allows you to adjust how much injection of input signal to get the compression, but when you adjust the output knobs, whether it's the global output knob or these channel output knobs, it keeps the input knob in place while you can compensate the output gain and stuff like that. Another good feature is the total harmonic distortion feature that they have in there to add more harmonic distortion into your signal as well. Another pro is the sidechain filter. A lot of times when we compress or we get a compressor that don't have a sidechain filter, you have to deal with your lows also being compensated, or excuse me, your lows being compromised with the compression. You know what I'm saying? So what that is a loss of dynamics on your low end. So what that sidechain filter will do is allow you to retain your low end and not be compressed or not get compressed, and everything else everything else above that crossover filter with the sidechain filter will be compressed, and everything else under that crossover point will not be compressed. So again, give you an example. If you have that sidechain filter set at 150 hertz, anything below 150 hertz will not be compressed. Everything above 150 hertz will be compressed, giving you a compressed signal above 150 hertz, and you can still retain that nice low end that you have on your signal or whatnot. And another unique feature that's a pro for me is that you have a fixed time constant on your attack time. That's really awesome. And you have a variable time constant on your release time. That gives you that true compressor flavor that you can really just dial in perfectly or whatnot, man. So that is the Kiive Audio FET compressor 760 limiter or whatnot. Sounds really, really good on funk drums, acoustic type of drums, boom bap, lo-fi, nostalgia type of genres, you name it. You know what I'm saying? This is a really, really good FET compressor. It's in its own class. I'm not exactly sure if it emulates anything. I think it's just a FET style compressor, but it sounds really, really good, man, and gives it a vintage twist with modern features inside of there. The modern features to name is the sidechain filter, the mix knob for parallel compression, and the total harmonic distortion knob that they have in there, and the ability to gain link your knobs as well, man. So that is it, man. Kiive Audio Complexx compressor, man. Make sure you go pick it up right now. They're running the special as of November 14th, man. You can get it for $89. It's right before Black Friday as well, Black Friday sale. So you can definitely get it under $100, but catch it while you can, because after that, man, it will probably jump up to around about $130 or whatnot, man. So this is a really, really good sounding compressor. Definitely good for your drums. I'm quite sure you can utilize it on vocals as well, for as like a vocal bus, but this is definitely a bus, mix bus group type of compression. You can utilize it on individual tracks, but you know what I'm saying, it works really, really well with taking all of those instruments and all of those tracks, and once you put them together, it can glue really, really good, really good, man. So it really doesn't sound FET to me. You know what I'm saying? FET is very fast compression, very aggressive, but it's not as aggressive as what you would think with a FET compressor. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely smooth, soft, and vintagey and stuff like that. I like it. I really like it, man. So I think we're going to keep this in the toolbox, man. So if you found this video useful, man, make sure you go ahead and hit a like on this video, man. Also subscribe to this channel, man. You have been in the Yo with your boy, man, Super Mario, man. And hey, stay creative out there, man. Stay blessed. Until next time, y'all be easy, man. Catch you on the next video. Yes, sir.